Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, make sure you say hello. Let me know that you're here as I am clicking live in all of these little places. Going live there. Beautiful, beautiful. Now let me check on. Get this going. Make sure you say good morning. Let me know you're here. Where's it at? Wait. Oh, there we go. All right. Let me get that set up. And I remember one more thing. Let me get it. All right. Got all that stuff done. I don't know my shirt, my necklace. I'm a little wonky here. That looks better. All right. Well, good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Wendy. So glad to have you here. It's a day, for some reason, I woke up this morning thinking a lot about how we had the month of magic and how magical it seems like things are all the time if we focus on that, if we pay attention to it. So I really wanted to. I'm doing great, Wendy. How are you? Thank you for asking. I had an interesting experience yesterday. I'll just share real quick. With my podcast, Miami Beach in the house. Yes, we all want to be on Miami Beach. Or at least I do. It would be nice. But I had an experience yesterday. I had a guest on my podcast, and she, let me back up. Not too long ago, I had a guest that was in Australia. And so when I talked to her, she was on the next day, right? Which was so interesting. It felt funny because I kept telling her she was my future friend, but the guest I had yesterday, she was in India, and so I had actually had a cancellation, and for someone that was sick. So I reached out to her as she was. Hello, Raina. Good to have you here. But I reached out to her to see if she wanted to get on early because the guest before them had canceled, and she responded with, I can try, but I'm in India. It's only, what did she say? It was 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, and she was just getting going. And I said, oh, no, we can just do it at the regular time. And because I don't remember a lot of times where these people are coming from and why we pick the time we do. And that, because it was one of the later ones. I don't normally do podcasts that late, but I was trying to accommodate her and I couldn't remember why. But that's not what I wanted to tell you. We do this podcast, and it was amazing. She was really, really interesting to talk to and fun. It was a great conversation. And at the end, I had asked her, tell people, a little bit more about what you do, how they can reach out to you, how you can help them, and all the things, that it just felt like that was the thing to ask her at the time. And so she answered all of it. And then she said, I'm just curious. What do you do and how can you help people? And it was like, what? People don't normally ask me those kinds of things, so it was like, okay. So I just went into my spiel. And as I was doing it, I was thinking about how often we are, not to say that my guests are self-centered or anything, but the conversation is all about them. And that's the purpose of it, is to be the catalyst that helps them get their message out, right? Get their thoughts out. So it felt very weird to, on my podcast, be talking about me, because I go on other podcasts and I talk about me, and never has it ever occurred to me to ask the podcaster, well, what are you doing and all that stuff. And so it was such a strange feeling. It was kind of, I almost felt like that moment, the deer in the headlights. It's like I wasn't prepared for this. But I think that happens to us a lot, right? In just life. Carrie and I live across the street from each other. Ooh, nice. So are you across the street, or are you joined together right now? So that's why it's Miami's in the house as opposed to the Wendy's in the house. You seem to facilitate all of those things, right, Wendy? Um, the thing is that we spend so much time that within our heads of how things are and what we're expecting, right? And it's just human nature, especially if we've been doing something for a while. And so I thought it was interesting that one question just kind of like, oh, what? And so I wanted to see in my mind, what, how can I be more able to just change on the fly kind of thing, and just flow with it, right? And not have that, this isn't what we normally do kind of thing, right? Does that make any sense? Does anybody else have that happen in their life, that they're going about their day, everything seems to be fine, and then something that's like, whoa, this isn't what I normally do. This is not the normal process. Because we are so creatures of habit. If you think about it, and is when we go to brush our teeth, we always use our dominant hand. We don't use our other hand, right? And so one of the books that I really like is with Joe Dispenza, and it's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And so this kind of goes along with that. When we're used to doing things in a certain way, and then it changes just a little bit, kind of throws us off. But what if we were looking for ways to pivot and change things as we were going, and it was fun, and a fun experience, and a learning experience? And do you understand what I'm getting at? I don't even know if I'm making any sense this morning. Let me see if I got any over here, over here. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get to the affirmation. And because I am looking for the magic in my life and my day, and part of that is by, hold on, let me get this going. Part of that is by stepping a little bit outside of my comfort zone, and maybe stretching out what I normally do, right? All right. So the affirmation for today is, today I will see and feel the magic in every moment, embrace the wonders it brings. So no matter what happens today, we're going to see the magic in the moment. And so, what does that look like? Well, maybe it is like she asked me that question that kind of threw me a little bit, but there was a magic in that moment. It actually gave me an opportunity to talk a little bit more about what I do. And we had a little conversation, and it was just really nice once the shock of actually being asked that question, which it's not that big a question, but nobody usually asks it. And I'm not saying I want that asked every single time. I am not, because I really want to keep focused on the person I have as a guest, right? The thing is that, like I said, we go through our days with our habitual activities and connections with each other. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Stacy. So we're going to look at everything today as a magic moment. And no matter what it is, we're going to embrace the wonders it bring, even if it's very much outside of our comfort zone. And we're actually, it's going to be really fun today if you will look for ways to jump out of your comfort zone, at least just a touch. So let's say, for instance, you go to the grocery store and you normally will, well, kind of nod and, to people, or, say, I don't know. But today, to step out of your comfort zone, maybe as you're perusing down the aisle and you get an eye contact with someone, you say, "Hey, how are you?" Maybe that's outside of your comfort zone. And maybe do that. And it doesn't have to be anything other than that. And they can say, "I'm great. How are you?" And you say, "I'm wonderful." And you just keep walking. It doesn't have to be anything big, right? But it's exercising that little bit, that little muscle of doing something just a touch more. So, maybe you go to the coffee shop and you stand in line and you might nod at someone, but you really don't strike up a conversation. So maybe today, just to for kicks and giggles and stepping outside of that comfort zone just a touch, maybe you look at somebody and you find something to admire about them or to compliment, and you give them a compliment for their day. Maybe that's the only compliment they've had in the last 6 months. Who knows? But just step out just a touch. And that in itself, you can feel the magic of the moment, even though it may give you a little bit of butterflies, but holy moly, will it exponentially help you to see and feel the magic in life. And so that comfort zone keeps us outside the magic zone. And we want to be in the magic zone. And you can't be there in that comfort zone. And like I said, you don't have to stretch it far. Just dip your toe out. I like to think, like, if you're at the pool and the water's going to be cold, and you just kind of tip your toe in there, and then you might do your foot, and then you might sit down and dangle your legs in there. So it can be slow process. You don't have to dive into the pool, right? Unless you choose to. So that's one of the things that we'll talk a little bit about in our program that we've got coming up, because it is amazing to be able to see what the comfort zones look like and be able to step out of them. And I've got a great graphic from Stacy, because this is something that she teaches in her Do the Thing, and we're going to teach it and we're going to tweak it and put it all together with all the things that we've got going on. So you got that to look forward to. And remember, today is the master class, and I know I've got some of you that have already signed up for it. So it's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern today. And I'm so excited about doing this because, we've done one, but since we don't plan anything, but maybe like I do have a plan for what I want to do with the visualization. Of course, it could change, because what happens sometimes is when you get there and I feel the energy and everything, I may have a different idea of what's the right visualization to do for you guys, because I'm going to do one. So look for it. And then Laura's going to do a game. It's going to be different from what we did before. And since everybody that shows up will all be in a different space and a different mindset, because we're not ever exactly the same as we were the time before, right? And so it's all going to be all new. And we may repeat some things because, I've only have so many stories to share. But we'll share some stories, and we'll hear some of your stories. So I'm really excited about that. All right. So back to our affirmation. Today, I will, and you can just take out the will. Today, I see and feel the magic in every moment, embrace the wonders it brings. Because, thank you, Wendy. I'm looking forward to it too. Invite some more friends, just invite some more people. But the magic that we can create in our lives is huge. And so there's a process that we're going through to create even more magic. But the main thing to create more magic in your life is to be open to see it, because sometimes things happen around us and we don't see the magic in it at all. And so today, you're going to be really focused on everything that happens. You're going to say, ooh, what's the magic of this one? And it's going to change the perception that you have on all kinds of things. And it is delicious to do, I'm telling you. And so I can't wait to hear how that goes for you. So today, you're going to be the out there with your glasses looking for magic everywhere. Even if you don't leave your house, there can be magic. There can be magic on the computer. There can be magic on the phone. There can just be magic in your environment if you look. So today's task, be a magic seeker. All right, so let's get to the journal prompt. Hold on, where's it at? All right, our journal prompt. What magical experiences do you hope to encounter today, and how will you stay open to noticing them? All right. So has anybody got an idea of something that they would love magical to happen today? And if you want to share, I'd love for you to share. And then how do we stay open to noticing stuff? How do we do it? Do you know? Do you have an idea? Anybody got an idea? I keep switching around to see if I can see all the things that are going on, but not necessarily. All right, so what magical experiences do I hope to encounter today? Oh, okay. I got a call for a great job. Ooh, Raina. Yes, yes. An amazing magical experience. Be aware of small things like butterflies. Yes, yes. And there is like we were talking the other day about, you have to stop and smell the roses. You have to smell the coffee. Yeah. And because there's so much that we don't even notice. And like we talked about the clouds and all those things, right? So when you're out, when you're today, while you're, even if you're at home, you can find magic, just like Carrie said, butterflies. I mean, I haven't seen that many butterflies lately, come to think of it, but I have seen a lot of now I'm from the South, so they're lightning bugs, but I know most people call them fireflies. But there have been just an amazing light show going on at night, just as it gets just to dusk. So I have really enjoyed that. So I like to just go stand outside or sit outside and just watch the light show with the lightning bugs. Do you call them lightning bugs or fireflies? I don't know. That's always been lightning bugs to me. I think the first time I heard fireflies was when I was in college. All right. So, is there a process that we can do that helps us to be more open to noticing this stuff? Any thoughts on that? For me, okay, let's see. I'm trying to, let me get this up so I'm not constantly looking down there. I already had one. I had an affliction in my eye all night and I fixed it. Magic. All right. Nice. That is very nice. Well, the thing that, one of the things to me that helps us to notice, just being open. Yes, it's making the statement, like Wendy just said, just being open, making the statement that today I am open. It actually opens your eyes up a little bit more. It's almost like it enables the lens that you have of the world to be cleaned off just a little bit. And you will, as you're seeing things, your mind will go to, is that magic? Is that magic? Is that magic? And it just changes everything. And because, the thing that happens most of the time with a lot of people is they're not looking for the magic in life. They're looking for what's wrong. And so, as they're looking for what's wrong, they'll constantly be seeing what's wrong. And I think I've told you before, it's like I've been in a car with someone and we're riding down the road and we're both looking in the same area, and one of us will see one thing and one sees the other. It's not like that we're one's looking on one side of the car and one on the other. No. And so it's like, I remember one time I was in a car riding with someone, and we were admiring some homes and stuff on the side of on this side of the car, right? And then she said, "Did you just see that homeless person that was kind of laying out there on the next to that sign?" I said, "No, but I saw that beautiful bird right over here." And it's like there was a very we were both looking, but our actual focus of looking was different because I was in the moment. Now I have to tell you, this, I am not perfect. So I could have very well seen the bum, the homeless person laying out there, right? But that day, I was focused on the magic. I was focused on beauty and the wonders of the world because I had had that in my mind before we ever left the house, right? And so I'm telling you that because when we are in a state of allowing to see the magic, it's all around us all the time and we see it. But if we're not into that allowing space, we'll see the other things, right? Um, Life is magic. Yes, Wendy and Carrie, being present. Yes. Being present and being open. It's like it's a gift you give yourself because isn't it so much more fun to go through life with rose-colored glasses? Isn't that what they all anybody that says, "Why you don't watch the news? You just wear rose-colored glasses." No, or if that's what you want to think, fine. But I don't feel the need to know every horrible thing that's going on. If I can't change it and it doesn't immediately affect me, what does it help? It doesn't. So that's the way I look at it. And because I've told you before, I have a client that is always stressed to the max. I mean, so stressed. It's like I'm surprised she hasn't had a heart attack or something. The thing is that she watches the news all the time. She listens to the news in her car. And I ask her, why do you do that? Well, I need to know what's going on. I said, do you really? To your detriment, you need to know what's going on in this country way over there? Or the shooting that happened somewhere last night, you have to know about that? And she said, well, I guess I don't have to know about it. And I'd say, then why do you? She said, I don't know. But we, as people, we can get kind of addicted to that stimulus too, right? So there's probably like this, how when something happens and it makes your heart race, and sometimes that's a good feeling, whew, right? But it can become a feeling, whether it's good or bad, that people gravitate to. They need that fix and they'll keep doing the same thing. And so that's the old thing of being, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And so I don't know if you do that. I hope you don't, but if you do, there's a good way to fix it. Stop. It makes me think there's what I can't even remember. There was a show many years ago. It might have been in the 80s. I don't even know. Bob Newhart. That's it. one of the, he was a psychiatrist or a therapist or whatever. And there's this big clip I saw one day about him giving the best advice in his clinic. And this woman's talking to him, and she tells him what's going on and how she feels and all these things, and everything she said, he says, okay, I'll tell you. It costs this much money, and it is 2 words, and it'll all be fixed. And she says, okay. So she gives the money, and she tells him what the problem is. And he says, okay, are you ready? And she says, yes. And he says, stop it. And that's what he says to everything. So it's really funny. But I think it's the Bob Newhart show. But it was like, I saw the clip not too long ago, and I thought that is so funny, because most of the time, all we have to do is just stop it. But the thing about people is that we can't just stop it without replacing something, right? Because you can't leave a void. And that's one of the things I talk about in my hypnosis, is that, well, we can, with hypnosis, we can remove amazing things, habits that you have. But you have to put something in there that you want to do in its place, because otherwise you're going to feel that void and start longing for it. Just like my client that longs to watch the news because she must not have an excitement in her life that feels good. So she grabs that because that's what she needs, is that fix. And so it's the same with everything. We can't just leave an empty space in our bodies, in our hearts, in our minds. We want to remove the thing that doesn't serve us, but then we also want to bring in something that does. And so it's an art. It's a magical symphony of deciding what's the thing you want to let go of and what's the thing you want to put in. It's beautiful. I have so much enjoyment and satisfaction when I help somebody through that process. And it's beautiful. So just remember, thank you, Raina. So just remember, it can be so magical as we're going through our day if we choose to focus on it. And I know I get off on stories all over the place, and I don't even remember what the heck. I have to go back sometimes and watch and listen, because I don't even remember what I said. But I think I kind of got a lot off task a little bit. But let's go through our day today, looking for the magic in every moment. Let me pop up the affirmation again. We're going to look at and see and feel. All right. Because when you put more than just your see senses, and then you might even see, like, when you see that magical moment, or you feel that magical moment, and that moment, what do you hear? Is there a smell about the place? So, like, if you're in the grocery store and this is when you have this magical moment, do you smell things baking? Do you hear the music play? And just you bring in as much of the senses around you as possible, and then it just amplifies the magic. It's almost like it's kind of like a dim room, and then you shine a spotlight on it, and it's like it just becomes brighter and more magical, and you experience it in a different way. And when you remember it, you experience it in a different way, because you had all your senses in there. All right, so make sense? All right, so now journal prompt. And remember, we're going to take our affirmation, we're going to put it on our sticky notes, our index cards, our mirror. We're going to put it as a screensaver on my phone, anywhere you want. I'm not saying you have to do all those things. No, this is not a job. This is something to help you. So whatever works for you, that's what you do, right? And then with the journal prompt, you're going to take your journal and you're going to put the date up there. You don't have to do this. This just is what I think helps the most. You put the date, And then you put the affirmation and the journal prompt together. And then you take, before you start writing any ideas out, you take a few moments of silence, whether it's 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, and you just get in the moment and you just stop all the noise chatter. And not to say you won't hear it a little bit, but you're getting better and better. If you're doing this every day, you're going to be getting better and better and better about being able to drop into this moment of peace and tranquility and openness. And that's when you look at your journal prompt and then you just start writing. And as you're writing the things out, so much more comes to you, just because you're not inundated in your mind with the stuff that happened earlier in the day, the things that you think are going to happen in the evening, what you're going to have for lunch. All of those thoughts are usually just permeating in your head, and you take a break for a moment and you write some stuff down. And so this helps you to just kind of quiet the noise a little bit so that you can really listen and hear that God voice, the universe, sharing ideas and epiphanies with you. Wouldn't it feel amazing to look back in 3 months and see how magical all the things that you wrote down happened? And, who's to say they won't, right? And the thing that is fun about this is when you're writing this stuff out, um, don't segregate the ideas. Don't look at them and say, "Oh, that's silly. That's not possible." Just write out whatever comes, and then who knows? Who knows? One idea that might have seemed silly might spark an idea that's amazing. And maybe that silly idea is not so silly at all. It's just a little touch out of your comfort zone. Or maybe it's something that you've wanted to do forever, but you never had the guts to put it out. So let this be an exercise of just play. Let's just see what magic can occur if we are open and allow. All right. So I'm looking to see if there's any more comments, let me look over here. I don't know. There's such a delay on this thing that sometimes it can be, whoop, I went past it. All right. So I've had an amazing morning with you guys. And just a reminder now, if you're watching the replay, make sure you put #replay, and you can answer all the questions right along with everybody else and just be part of the conversation. Even though you're not here live, you can still be part of it. Have a truly magical day. Thank you, Wendy, you as well, and everybody else. And just a quick reminder, tonight, 4:30 Eastern time, is the masterclass. And if you have not already signed up to be there in the events section of the group, then there's also a jot form I can send you where you can fill it out. And it should have come to you in an email, but I've realized that some people might have joined before my spreadsheet began. And so I realized that some people that are showing up sometimes are not getting the emails. So I got to go in and take care of that. So anybody that didn't get the email from me, please let me know. You don't have to do it here. You can private message me, whatever you want to do, so that I can make sure that you're on the email list and you'll get all of the replays and the different things that we're doing. So tonight, I would love it if you could be there and participate. And like I said, invite your friends. It's going to be so amazing to be there. And I look forward to always have fun when I'm doing all this stuff with Laura. So it'll be great. We'll have an amazing evening, and I'm ready for some more magic to happen, right? So tonight's going to be magical too. You have an extremely magically blessed day, and I will see you tonight. And See you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.